Okay, let's look at what a drop-down can do. Drop-down box in Excel is a really handy tool that allows us to have a drop-down fill list. Okay, now many reasons why this might be a useful tool to use within a spreadsheet. Number one, it kind of takes away the potential for user error in terms of, like, for instance, and actually let me just use this. If I were to accidentally misplace the A or miss the A, the name Valerie is misspelled here. What I can do with the drop-down box is ensure that when a user is typing data in, the user actually types in the correct or chooses the correct spelling. Another reason why a drop-down box might be useful is that we might want to limit the user's input. So for instance, we have 4 names here: Mark, Susan, Valerie, and Matthew. We want to avoid, for instance, the user maybe typing in the name John, because maybe John isn't an appropriate selection for the user to select. So the drop-down box is very handy. It is a way to control the data that is being inputted into our worksheet. So let's take a look at how we create this drop-down box with the list of names. What I'm going to do is I'm going to remove it right now by simply kind of copying and pasting. Let me actually just remove all references to it. Don't know why that is not showing up, but let me click off the tab here. There we go. So what you just saw me struggle with on the screen was a little glitch in Excel. If you ever run into that, just know to click off, come back on. The little drop-down arrow wasn't leaving the screen, even though I'd removed the reference to the drop-down box. Okay, so the basic starting point is the data validation tab. And what we want to do is we always want to start out in the cell that we want the drop-down box to be located in. So I'm going to go ahead and choose the location to be cell D14, and then I'm going to go up to data, and then I'm going to choose data and then validation, which is right here. So part of learning the drop-down box is simply getting used to maybe an area of Excel, the menu portion of Excel that you're not yet too familiar with. So take your time with this, and also if you have prior versions of Excel, then the menus might look slightly different, but just know that every instance of Excel, whether you're on a MacBook or on a Windows or any kind of, even if you're in Chrome using Google Sheets will have a similar kind of data tab and then validation. Okay, so this is pretty standard across the spreadsheet applications. So I'm going to choose this drop-down, this dialog box opens, and what I want to do is choose list. Okay, I'm going to choose list, and then I want the source. So the source is simply what values do you want to fill the list? So I'm going to choose first name, because these are the names that I want to show up in my drop-down box. If I want to choose favorite color, I could do that, or favorite sports team, but I want first name, so I'm going to select cells D7 through D11, and then I'm going to click OK. And there I have my drop-down box. Okay, see if you can do it for favorite color. So your practice challenge is to create a drop-down box filled with favorite color options, and then the advanced challenge would be to create a drop-down box with all of the names in this data historical winners tab. So you can, and the challenge here is to create a drop-down box with about 347 list fill values. It's possible, you can do it. It would create a longer drop-down box, and then once you kind of start to use more real-world data, you'll get new ideas on how you can make the drop-down box look even better. Like, for instance, maybe you want to sort the drop-down box in ascending order, or maybe you want to maybe figure out some way to make the drop-down box more or less user-friendly for the user, depending on whatever it is. So typically, I mean, a drop-down box with like 349 values is pretty long. For now, I want you to just kind of work on it just to kind of get experience creating a drop-down box with a larger data set, and see if you can do that. Okay, once you're ready to do that, if you also have the match VLOOKUP, or the match and also the VLOOKUP ready, then you'll be ready to move on to your drop-down VLOOKUP match combo. Okay, good luck. Keep in touch with questions. I can come into your small group if you have any, if you need questions or are running into any hurdles with this particular feature. Thanks.